We have Vikas, Pershad, Portfolio Manager, Asian Equities at MNG Investments. Vikas, good to have you with us here this morning. Good morning. Just a quick word on the summit in Alaska on Friday. You think, there will be, of course, a lot of this. The summit is a summit, and there'll be the photo op and the all of that. But behind the scenes, I mean, I'm assuming both sides would try and figure out a solution for their leaders to sign upon, right? So you think we will see something concrete? Looks like it. I mean, if you're making a big show of it, a big effort, going all the way there, what should markets expect, Vikas?
Good morning, Pershad. I think something concrete should happen. India presumably will be part of these conversations. There's an impact to oil. There's an impact to various sectors that we're exposed to in India, but broadly, of course, as well. It's interesting that President Zelensky from Ukraine will not be there. It's for President Trump and President Putin. So we'll see, but all eyes on that, but all eyes on negotiations between the US and China as well, the US and India, of course. In early May, when the markets had rebounded and India was the first major market in the world to erase its post-Liberation Day losses, if somebody had told me that we'd be talking about tariffs that are higher on India than on China, that would not have been my base case. So a lot of surprises, but we remain very constructive on India. It's easier to be more constructive on Indian equities at these levels than back in May or even in September. But we were fully deployed in September at the end of last year. We were fully deployed in April and May. The constituency or the constituents of the portfolio have changed a little bit, but we remain very constructive on India for the long term.
That's good to know, Vikas. Hi, morning. Great to have you on the show. These days, it's probably, you can still try predicting markets, but predicting global politics, well, that's become another thing these days, right? Ever since Mr. Trump took office. Now, on that, just to conclude that point on whether this weighs on India, do you think the fact that there seems to be a rupture in the relationship and then, even diplomatically, militarily, trade, would that at all become a bit of a niggling issue for foreign investors looking at this market? Because it's not like we have 20% earnings to make up for any other gray areas. My short point is, will India's relationship with the US in the short term weigh on investors' mind?
So I think clearly the answer is yes. FIIs, it seems like for the past few months, have been looking for reasons to sell, whether it's India, Pakistan, or the Liberation Day tariffs when there's uncertainty around that. Our view is the opposite, that this uncertainty, this volatility is creating a lot of long-term opportunities. Yes, we don't have the 15 to 20% top-line growth in aggregate, but it's still pretty healthy. What we've seen in the most recent earnings season, not done yet, there's still some companies to report, is that active management matters. There's a lot of dispersion within sectors. If you look at IT services or staples or healthcare or the automotive sector, a lot of dispersion, a lot of differential between the leaders and the laggards. So active management matters. Having a long-term view matters. But in the short term, clearly FIIs are voting with their capital and they're electing to put their money elsewhere.
Hi, Vikas. Good to see you. When, the last time we chatted, we were talking about how India was the first market to bounce back. And now, all of a sudden, we're getting the harder end of the stick from President Trump. But our markets have reacted a fair bit. I think in the past, there were a couple of sectors that you were quite positive in the Indian markets. NBFCs, defense. You had lightened some positions, though, out there. Currently, which is your top sector here in the Indian markets that you're looking at?
Our portfolio is diverse. If you look at our top 10 holdings, you'll see 10 different sectors represented. If there are some common themes, there are beneficiaries of manufacturing, direct manufacturing, not the EMS sector, where we have very little positioning. It's healthcare services, not so much pharma, diagnostics, hospitals, higher-end property, auto ancillaries, the derivatives of the automotive sector, two-wheelers in particular. There's defense as well. We had lightened up in defense a few weeks back because it had priced in quite a bit post-Operation Sindoor, but we've added some of that exposure back as these names have been selling off because the long-term story still remains intact. I would, just on this tariff situation, I would recommend viewers go back and watch the conversation with Mr. Tharoor from early this morning. He brought up a lot of good points. In the long term, India and the US need each other. I think both sides would agree or disagree on who needs the other more. But these are clearly going to be long-term partners.
Absolutely.
For political reasons, yeah.
Yeah. Since you mentioned Mr. Tharoor, just reminded me today, I think the Commerce Minister, is also going to be briefing the Parliamentary Standing Committee on External Affairs. And Mr. Tharoor is leading that committee. So I think we'll have some more idea about where things stand. But thank you. Thank you very much, Vikas, for your perspective this morning. Very, very helpful. Thanks for joining in.